Hey, welcome. Happy Lonely Friday night, everybody. Didn't see you last week here. This week, welcome to the loneliest name in late night. Welcome to Sam Roberts now. Although I don't know if it's late night anymore when we do this live with the sun up. However, the sun stays up for one man. Let's see. Is he here with us this week? The one and only. Oh, wait, I got my mouse wrong. Hang on. The one and only Hot Dog. Hey, there he is. What's going on?
I got scared. I didn't know I was going to be behind.
Maybe you wouldn't be there.
No.
Yeah. I'm here, but I'm not here. I don't understand. I should do that to you one time. Just leave you behind the Sam Roberts Now wall. Just like
another person there.
Let's see if he's here. I guess he's not here. You're muted. I'm here. I swear I'm here. I'm here.
Trying to barge through the screen.
Hot Dog, it wouldn't be Lonely Friday night without the one and only Hot Dog. And we've got so much to do today. So much to talk about because, I mean, what a week. First of all, Hot Dog, I don't know where you lie on the matter, but huge news in the world of, I think, all forms of media, right? Internet media, sports media, wheelings and dealings going on, stuff entertainment, media, all forms of, it's not, it doesn't go too far past betting. I was going to say doesn't go too far past media, but betting as well. Yes, because Dave Portnoy, known affectionately by some of his fans as El Presidente, which I'm not sure what the translation of that is, but I will have our people look up exactly what that means. He's back. He's back in charge of Barstool Sports as the sole owner. Of course, Dave Portnoy founded this organization, Barstool Sports. It started as a newspaper that he would give out for free and try to sell ads in out there in Boston, and grew until it's become the major general media company that it is. A few years back, after building up Barstool to this point that it was on the tip of the tongue of America. It was part of the cultural zeitgeist, wouldn't you say, Hot Dog?
I would say so.
Yes, and he decided to make a banger of a deal. He connects with a company called Penn Entertainment and sells the company to Penn Entertainment. Now, and this was fairly unprecedented at the time because Barstool Sports is a very controversial company, surrounded by, built upon the image of a fairly controversial figure. And I say controversial because he kind of says whatever it is that he wants to say. And you've heard all the trouble that Barstool has been in for saying controversial things in the past. So this was kind of a grand experiment, right? There's controversial, but still so profitable and still have such an incredible audience. Can we take in 2020, whatever, 2018, in the 2000s, can we take a company like this and have it exist within mainstream corporate environments? Can we take this sort of homegrown money and turn it into big corporate money? And the answer is no. Of course you can't do that. No. That didn't work out, but worked out for Portnoy because Penn Entertainment came in and they bought the company in two waves. I think first they got like 30% of the company, and then they bought more of it. Eventually, it was something like $500 million is what they paid for the company. And I would imagine that Dave, as the guy who founded the company, probably received a fairly significant chunk of that change. And, and they brought in a CEO, and they tried to make Barstool bigger and bigger. And part of that was building out their betting program. There's so much money in sports gambling now, which is really funny to me. The idea that, like, I don't know, the morality there may not work for this gambling company. You're like, well, what are we talking about here? But they were apparently having trouble getting gambling licenses in certain states because of how controversial Dave and the company was. So Penn Entertainment, looking to make a huge deal, signs a deal with ESPN to take Barstool Sportsbook, which is a betting app that Penn created around Barstool, and turn it into ESPN Bet or something like that. So it will be ESPN Bet. They'll now have their own sort of gambling house that they can incorporate into all their shows instead of, because, a sports network, so much of interest in sports is predicated on people putting money on the games that,
Right.
The idea of instead of just getting a sponsor to come on board and be their gambling partner, create your own, it can be very attractive. But then
ESPN a lot less controversial than Barstool.
Disney owned ESPN, but Disney has this history. ESPN has this history with Barstool. You remember Barstool was supposed to have a show on ESPN. It lasted one episode, and they were like, "What?" It was one of those things where you
Did it?
Yes, it lasted like one episode, and it was one of those deals where it was like the Van show or whatever, and it was like, how did this get approved? It takes so long to get a show off the ground. How did this go through the steps to get to a place where it's being aired on television? Because the minute it showed up on television, somebody realized we can't have Barstool on our network, and they canceled it. So,
I mean, like one episode, it has to be really.
It wasn't about the episode. It was about the brand. Because the episode was fine. The episode wasn't crazy. It's just about the brand.
Okay.
But then it's like, well, then why'd you sign the deal to begin with? This is nuts. It's
We didn't know what we signed up for.
It's a nutty thing. You want to believe that these people in positions of power are so much smarter and more advanced than we are, but there's a lot of human beings controlling all this stuff. That's something important to keep in mind throughout all aspects of life.
And human beings are stupid.
That's right. Some more than others. Am I right, hot dog?
Right.
So they go, okay, well, we're going to dump. We're not going to do this with Barstool anymore. We're going to do this with ESPN. So Portnoy comes back and he goes, that sounds good. I'd like to take Barstool back. And after getting $500 million from Penn Entertainment for Barstool, Dave Portnoy is able to get in there and buy his company back for $1. $1 is what Portnoy paid for Barstool, which is nuts because I would have paid 6 or 7 times as much as Portnoy paid for Barstool.
You could have afforded it.
100%. I would have given, and I would honestly, I could have given them 6 or 7 times that cash, and not even. And I would have been the owner. I would have walked in there, and I would have been the man. But they decided to go, okay, do what you're gonna do. Portnoy buys the company for $1, along with some, non-compete stuff. And if Portnoy sells the company, he has to give Penn Entertainment half of what he ever sells for. So it's not like he could just sell the company, buy it back for $1, and then sell it again. Because that would be awesome.
Flip it for $2.
Yeah, I'm up
Double
for
your
two.
profits.
Double the money. I just doubled my money inside of 1 week. Maybe I should hit up Dave. Portnoy. Robert's here, yeah. How would you like to make 5 times your investment?
I'm listening.
I'm
listening.
okay. I made 5 times the amount that I put in. Yeah, so he's back. He's in charge, and
But why was that though? Like that still seems like even with the little arrangements and deals, it seems like quite the steal.
For Portnoy.
Were they just so crazy? Were they just so crazy to just dump that brand?
Well, they needed to get out of it in order to sign this much bigger deal with Disney. So they needed to get out of it, right? And whatever, like the Disney deal is a $2 billion deal. So you're talking about $500 million. And yeah, sure, maybe they could find a buyer, maybe. But if they're sitting there going, we're getting out of this business because the gambling stuff isn't working out like we thought it was going to work out, who knows how to, it's his company. Like, who knows how to make money running that company more than him? So, like, I don't know who's going to come off the street and pay $550 for it. And do you want them to? If they've got stuff in the deal where if Portnoy sells it later, they still get half the money, you do want to put the guy in charge that you have faith is going to maintain it. And yeah, and you got to, and they probably had to unload it today. Like we can sign this ESPN deal now. If we get rid of Barstool today, will you take it for $1? Dave's like, yep. yeah.
Dave,
yes.
Dave said he's not selling. He said he's sticking with that until he dies.
Well, of course he said that. I mean, the whole brand of Barstool is predicated upon us versus them. He's got to now build. He's already calling it a pirate ship. I'll never sell it. Right. It's a pirate ship. I mean, he's like Leonardo DiCaprio in Wolf of Wall Street. I'm not leaving. I'm not leaving. And you know,
not fucking leaving.
Right. Right. And you're going to get strippers and little people in every Friday. It's going to be great. Everybody's going to want to work there.
I want to work there.
You do. You know what I call these? Fun coupons. Fun coupons.
I would probably be the little person that's getting darted around, though.
Yeah, but you'd have a good time. You'd be the one who took you'd take $2,000 to shave your head, not realizing it could have been $5,000. You realize I got $2,000 to shave my head? Yeah, they gave $7,000 to a guy last week. What?
I did it for free. We're paying you guys?
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, it's a big deal, and now it's like, it's just so funny because when a deal like this gets made, of course, all eyes are on it, and I feel like Portnoy is like an old, like, radio guy in the sense that, like, there's a generation of people who grew up with like Stern and O&A and all those radio shows where all the behind the scenes drama would become a part of the show. And and
love it.
Right. It's great. But then there's this disconnect between what is actually like news. What should Varney be talking about? What should we be talking about on CNBC versus what is inter-office drama entertainment for the new Barstool? And so, like, I'm watching news channels, and they're like, and Portnoy was disappointed to find out that his employees hadn't shown up on time, even though they knew he was the new owner. And I'm like, this isn't news. This is Barstool content. This is such an example of this bigger picture of people not realizing, you know, it's not, everything is not everything. It's not all just one thing. It's okay to categorize stuff as that's for that, and we do this over here. Because
a little bit of disconnect there.
Right. Because Dave walked in, I think, 10 o'clock the next day or whatever, and he was dismayed because I guess since he's not the CEO and he wasn't the owner, I guess he hadn't been in the office or whatever. Because I seen the video because they reported about it on the news. He was walking around the office going like, what the fuck is this? Nobody's here for work. This is ridiculous. And then he, started going on his own podcast, just blasting employees for not showing up. And I was like, look, I don't know if it's...
It might have been a hybrid day.
That's the other thing. Dave hasn't run a company in post-pandemic hybrid day. Right. Like, when he was running things, Gen Z wasn't quite in the workforce yet. Right? Right. So say it's like, even 5 years ago, right? Gen Z is just starting to sprinkle into the workplace. It was really like the millennials were just kind of aging out. Now he's back and it's more of the Gen Z hybrid workday environment. He hasn't run a company where people are getting lazy girl jobs, right? How is he going to cope with the fact you like lazy girl jobs? I
love a good lazy girl job.
I've been following this trend on TikTok, lazy girl jobs. It goes along with quiet quitting, which I'm not against. Here's what I'm against, okay? Because quiet quitting is very popular. Lazy girl jobs. Right. It's when people figure out, like, I want to get a comfortable job that makes good money, that I don't have to do a lot of work at, and I don't take it home. I have my work-life balance is a big thing now, and I'm not against that. Where it starts to hit against a wall for me is when they go, they get a lazy girl job, and then 6 months into the lazy girl job, they start complaining that the boss doesn't value them enough, and you're like, well, wait. You can't have it both ways. Like, you can't be hustle culture Mr. or Little Miss motivated when it's time to get a raise. But when it's not time to get a raise, be like, no, I'm just perfecting my work-life balance, and I really don't do a lot at work. It's fine to not do a lot at work.
It's a flex now. People used to flex about how,
right,
I work so hard and the boss can count on me at 9 p.m. on a Wednesday night, and now it's just like, oh, you simp. You actually do that for your job?
Yeah. You mean you get cucked by your boss? Are you kidding me? Yes. But then when it's like, hey, man, I should really be better appreciated. Like, you can't have it. Yeah. You can't have it both ways. Because if you're appreciated, that means there's expectations of you. It's like if you want the appreciation, but you don't want the expectations, then we're at a crossroads here that we're going to have to figure out, because that's not what you're looking for. Right? I mean,
I understand what you're saying, and I agree with what you're saying. That will not stop me from telling management that I feel underappreciated in 6 months' time.
You will. But okay.
I will.
Will you be telling management that? Or will you be actively and in earnest complaining to coworkers about that? Because I don't mind telling management about that. Because I don't mind just trying to pull the wool over their eyes to get a couple extra bucks. That's still right along with lazy girl jobs, quiet quitting. I'm totally fine with that. It's when it's like you're at lunch and you're complaining that the company doesn't really value you enough to coworkers that are not making any of those decisions, where you go, you made the choice. Like, you decided to come to a place where you could float under the radar. I don't mind people who like to float under the radar. But then don't be like, I don't understand why I'm not employee of the month. You're like, well, because
I mean, I work alongside some of those people, and I don't get it. I'm like, hey, man, everything's chill here. Like, why are you so stressed?
Relax.
Take it easy. Don't ruin this for us.
Take it easy. Take it easy.
Tranquilo.
Right. No, I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at it. It's just you have to figure out where you stand. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And live by that. But, I mean, I do feel like you're right. There was a time when it was all about the flex. And that time is dying, I think. I think now it's more about like TikToks where people show the cushy work environment that they have, where it's like, I check emails and then I go to yoga and then I get breakfast and then I get a coffee, and then versus, oh man, I work, 15 hours a day and never sleep, but look at my Maserati. Right. Yeah. I don't think people are.
I would never want that.
Right. But when you see those yoga studios in the work environment,
I go, oh, they hire it?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. See, that's why like Lil Tay was such an icon of her time. This when flex culture was at it. Did you just rest in peace?
R.I.P.
Okay, well.
We lost a great one.
No, I know we did, but I've got news for you. We may actually not have.
Okay, I'm listening.
Okay, all right. There's a lot of mystery here. I was doing a lot of research into whether or not this human being is dead or not, and it would appear that she is not dead. Lil Tay, for those of you who don't remember, this is 2018. So this is like the end. Well, not quite the end. I feel like flex culture died during the pandemic, and that's when lazy girl culture really started to pick up steam. Because you realized you could work from home, which meant that you actually didn't have to work. You could just be at home. And you were like,
yeah, it was COVID. COVID started the whole trend.
Yes.
Because it opened our eyes.
Right. Like you don't have to.
You would hear.
Right.
You would hear about this like years before at the office when someone would be like, why can't I do this at home? And then your managers would have 30 different reasons as to why you couldn't. Oh, well, actually, no, it's not going to work. And the internet isn't set up this way and all this stuff. And then COVID hits and all of a sudden we figured it out. And everything was running fine.
Yeah, everything was fine. And you realize, like, I'm doing not a lot, but everything's getting done. So I can keep. Yeah, this was 2018. This was the very end of the reverse, where it was like, look at how much money I have. And Lil Tay becomes this huge online celebrity as a 9-year-old girl that's flexing her great wealth. See?
Shut your mouth before I smack you, auntie. Lil Tay out here balling in the IA. I dropped 200 racks on this car, and I'm only 9 years old. I got the keys to this car. See, these are butterfly wings. Y'all haven't seen this car in your lives.
That's right.
I'm driving this around the Beverly Hills area, and I'm only 9 years old. I got no license, but I ain't ever gonna get no license.
Nice.
Lil Tay just got verified. Y'all all said I wouldn't make it, but
that's
bitch,
right,
look,
verified.
I'm verified
Remember
now.
when that was a
Lil
big
Tay,
thing,
young
verification?
sucks up the
I think he dropped the video like that.
I did. I did.
God damn it, what the Ouch! Ouch! Dang it!
So like,
I just got verified.
I just got verified. That's exactly what I did when I got verified too. It was back in the day. It was a more innocent time. But I don't know. Like, I always kind of got a kick out of Lil Tay because I didn't take it even remotely seriously. Like, clearly, this 9-year-old girl has not actually amassed this wealth that she brags about. Nor does she necessarily want you to believe that she has. I took it as more of like a parody of other people that would flex online. But the literal brain that people have now, she became very controversial because people were like, hey, this little 9-year-old girl is very rude and extremely braggadocious. We really need to get to the bottom of this because this is not the way a child should be acting. And I'm going like, well, yeah, that's the joke. But then others like were like, no, it's bad. I mean, I know it's bad. That's the joke. It's the internet has a tendency of working itself into a shoot like nothing I've ever seen. It's mind-boggling because towards the end of Lil Tay's run, I mean, she started doing like GMA interviewed Lil Tay to go like, hey, like I was watching an interview where they were like, well, you don't really have all that much money, do you? And she's like, yes, I do. And they're like, wow. And you're like, what are you talking about? What are we doing? What are we doing?
There's layers to this. And they're just not quite at the top one yet.
I mean, it's not like these really complicated layers. It's just a parody. It's
Right.
like Weird Al being brought on the news to be like, Weird Al, not only are you not actually a surgeon, but you never went to medical school at all, did you? You wouldn't know what it was to be like a surgeon, would you, Weird Al? Weird Al's like, what? What are we doing here? I mean, listen.
He is a well-mannered
That's her mom.
and a great kid.
But that's not what comes across on the internet.
People think it's like funny, I guess, because I'm 9 years old and I've accomplished so much.
I don't think a lot of people are believing.
She's not breaking kayfabe, by the way.
No, it's great.
She's
I
not
love
breaking kayfabe. She's talking right to a news anchor and going like, I've just amassed such a fortune at 9 years old. It's unbelievable, and I don't even know why people think it's funny.
This is like a real journalist talking to a TV character.
Do you understand people go to college to do this? Like, and it's not even just a real journalist. It's a journalist with one of the best jobs that you could ever get as a journalist. Like, she's gone through college. She's gone through local news. She's gone through radio. She's gone through all of it to finally get to the top of the heap, to go to GMA, to do real news that hopefully one day will get her to a point that she can step foot in that Times Square studio and be a host of the show. And what's my assignment today? Well, I want you to ask Lil Tay if she's as rich as she says she is. What?
Where'd you get the money, Lil Tay?
Great accomplishments. Oh, you know, some people don't believe that. Oh, what do we do? Like, is this a make-believe world? Like, what do we do? How many layers deep does this parody go?
Of dollars at 9.
If they don't believe that, then I don't really care.
As for her schooling,
I'm a Harvard dropout.
What city is Harvard in?
I'm a Harvard dropout. Just lying. Just a 9-year-old lying to an adult. And GMA's like, this is the news.
With the serious
As for her
voiceover on top.
Yeah. You may find this difficult to believe, but we have trouble verifying her schooling.
schooling.
I'm a Harvard dropout.
What city is Harvard in?
I kind of forgot because I haven't been there in a long time.
And Juju, I'm glad you pressed her in those
A
questions.
long time ago.
I mean, George Stephanopoulos, okay?
Well, I got to tell you, I took a lot of heat at home last night.
This guy used to be, you know where George Stephanopoulos got his start?
No.
Well, not his start, but like he rose to fame. He was the press secretary for President Clinton. He was Bill Clinton's press secretary. And now he's on GMA telling a reporter, I'm glad you pressed Lil Tay on some of these questions because I'm starting to think she never went to Harvard at all.
I love her answer to the where it is. I don't know.
I don't
a long
remember.
time ago.
It was
A long time ago for a 9-year-old.
Yeah, how far away? How long ago could it have been? Like if you're 9 now, how young were you when you went to Harvard? It is an incredible accomplishment. It would explain how she's made millions and millions of dollars. Well, all these exposés started. And it does get really weird and potentially sad for Lil Tay, right? Because people started realizing a video leaked where it was exposed that her brother may have been putting her up to doing all of this, which, again, that's a line you walk, right? How much of it was her and her brother just putting on a skit and her brother realizing it's funnier if a 9-year-old does it, and how much of it, if it was that, that's fine. If it was her brother saying, no, you have to do this, and her saying, I don't want to do this, that's terrible. There were allegations of mistreatment from both parents. The mother blaming the father blaming the mother. Like, it seems really, really tumultuous and really, really bad for this poor girl who was legitimately 9 there. She's like 14 now. And then she started like hanging out with like Lil Pump or Lil Pimp, as President Trump said. Like, and you start to go like, where, okay, the lines are starting to blur. Right. In a way that's potentially
like, this is actually
harmful.
Something that a kid shouldn't be doing now.
Exactly. So she kind of went away. And while she was away, new stuff would keep popping up. Like, they realized that the reason she was able to brag in all these mansions is not because she didn't own the mansions, which I don't think anyone was surprised by, right? Huh? But her mother was like working for a real estate company and would let her go and like make videos in the mansions that she was trying to sell, which her boss didn't know. And apparently her mom's boss also didn't know that Lil Tay was making videos with her mom's boss's car in them and all this stuff that like I think the mom ended up getting fired for it. And you're like, okay, if that much sneakiness is going on, then you are getting to the point where it's not like, oh, the family was all in on it together and they were just having fun. Or was it more like, well, if they're lying to the boss and they're lying to this person and the mother and the father are fighting like this, you start to smell, okay, this poor kid was not just having a good time. Like, the scent of exploitation starts to reek, you know what I mean? Where you realize, like, oh, somebody was making money off of her, and it probably wasn't going into a locked trust fund that she won't open until she's 18. And then this happened just this week on Lil Tay's Instagram that hasn't been updated, although it was updated. Like, weird posts would go up, weird posts that would accuse like different family members of doing terrible things, but you didn't know who was actually posting it, and then it wouldn't be followed up on. There wouldn't be a video. It would just be a text file. So this text file comes up that says, with a heavy heart, we share the devastating news. Our beloved Claire's, I guess that's her name, sudden and tragic passing. We have no words to express the unbearable loss and indescribable pain. The outcome is entirely unexpected. Her brother's passing adds an even more unimaginable depth to our grief. So out of nowhere, they're just like, Tay and her brother both are deceased. And people are like, what the hell is going on?
Yeah, was it a car accident? What the hell happened?
People start, of course, the cyber sleuths come out. They find a jet skiing accident in Vancouver that starts, they go like, oh, maybe it was the jet skiing accident. And then they go, no, she wasn't in Vancouver at the time. It couldn't have been that. So the cyber sleuths are going at it, as is TMZ, who then goes, no, Tay is alive. Lil Tay is not deceased. And they have a statement from her. Again, it's not on video. It's just in text, right? So first, a message comes up on an Instagram account that says it's her brother, but nobody can verify it for sure. That says we're locked out of the Lil Tay Instagram account, but that stuff isn't true. Then a quote goes to TMZ that they say is from Lil Tay, that she says that she's not dead. Her and her brother are very much alive. They're totally fine, but there was a hack, that they've been hacked out of the Instagram account. And everybody goes, well, why? Like, who is trying to put Lil Tay at the top of the news pile so much that they would hack into her Instagram account and fake her death? And then people were like, well, this is her doing it. She's just trying to chase clout. But then that doesn't really make any sense because she hasn't really been active for like a couple of years now. And people are wondering
I think
if it's her
the
parents.
night before, or the same day or the night before, the father was reached. Like
Yes.
they were trying to get a comment from him, and he
Befo-
refused.
Before
to
they
say?
confirmed that she
Right.
was alive, the father was like, I just can't comment on this. I just can't. I'm not going to comment on it.
Weird.
And you're like, what? What do you mean you can't comment on it? And then they realize that she's still alive. I mean, look, interest in Lil Tay is at an all-time high. And people are, and it's like people are looking for answers, but I also like, there's no way we'll get a straight answer from anyone on this. There's so much juggling going on.
Right,
Then there's
like,
also like, apparently there's
no law was broken. Technically, I guess you can lie about someone's death.
I don't think you can.
There's no one. Is that against the law?
You can't fake your own death.
Right, but you can put out a statement saying someone else died. That's not against the law.
Have you looked that up? Are you a lawyer?
I would think.
I feel like that would be like, you know, you can sue somebody for like, that's like a slander, right? They claimed I was dead. I am not dead. That feels like slander to me. It feels like very slanderous. It's like one of the worst things you can accuse someone of being is dead if they're not.
Yeah, sure, I guess. Yeah.
So I feel like you could sue at least over that. Yeah, and apparently there's also like some people are saying there's a crypto coin called Tay coin that's getting ready to launch, and they don't know if it's associated with that. Yeah, they said they looked it up at first, and they nobody could find any death certificate that was at all related to any name that she goes by. They were calling like the LAPD, the internet sleuths. You can only imagine these police departments that get called from these internet sleuths. But they were getting calls from internet sleuths going like, do you have, like, does the morgue have a file of this? And they were like, no, we're not looking into it. There's no file of this. I don't need, no.
This didn't happen.
This is just a post on Instagram. There's literally, that's all there is to it. And it's been days now. And there's no video. No one's come forward. No, nothing. It's so strange. It's really weird.
I mean, it sounds to me like the parents were very much into it as well.
But they're not. I don't think the
father-
parent. No, because accusations against the mother and the father have been levied separately. So I don't know. I don't think because I don't think the parents are together. And I think that when she started getting famous, the dad was like, this is going too far. Like the dad wanted to stop it, I think.
Okay. But it's just weird that neither of them would come out immediately when this post is thrown out, and then TMZ and all these outlets start spreading it and go, no, our daughter is alive. The fact that it took a day.
And still neither. I haven't seen any specific, like, neither one of them have done an interview or a video or like said, hey, here's the story. And I haven't seen her. I haven't seen the brother. I'm just getting just quote after quote from like weird sources.
Yeah, I think it's definitely some parent brother stuff. I think everyone involved in there is doing some harm to this little poor 14-year-old child.
We should have done that. This is what we should have done last week when we didn't have a Sam Roberts Now because we were in Detroit for SummerSlam. But if we had just posted like an RIP thing, everybody, oh man, where is he? You know, I'm always looking for the angle, right? I can't do the cuckoldry Adam 22 thing. You know, I've tried. Nobody is interested in my NPC content. I posted a video. It did nothing. So maybe maybe I got to do this. Maybe I got to.
We're always a week behind.
I know. I mean, it's a good idea. Maybe if we fake your death, it'll be easier. Like maybe if we just do a hot dog memorial show, and then you just pop on the next week, and everybody will be so interested.
You'll get the most likes you've ever gotten.
Right. Oh, that's true. That's true. And then I'll get all the dislikes when they find out that you're still alive. Yeah, that's true. We don't want to get expectations too high.
No.
I do sometimes wonder, it's like everybody will talk about it. It feels very underwear gnomes. It feels very like, we'll fake her death and everybody will talk about it. Then step 2, then profit. You're like, wait.
Question mark.
Yeah,
Mark.
what exactly is step 2? Right. That's in between the first part and the profit. Yeah, but what
You don't get
exactly?
it, bro. Monetize.
That's
Just throwing words.
Yeah.
Monetization.
This is where we monetize, because here's the thing. After we get everybody talking, we'll get engagement at an all-time high. Monetize the engagement, profit. And
Picking up what you're putting down.
How will we monetize the engagement? Look, Boomer, if you're not with us, you're against us. No, okay, all right.
Stop
No,
asking so many questions.
Oh my God, who invited this guy?
Get out of here. Get out of here. You're not part of this anymore.
Oh, Lil Tay's okay. Oh, she's all right.
Yeah.
I worry for Lil Tay.
She has a lot of money and she's Harvard educated, so I think she's going to be fine.
I do hope, that hopefully she's invested some of the money too. Because I watched an interview too where they said, when you throw the money up in the air, do you pick it up after? And she said she really doesn't even worry about it because there's just so much more. So
I mean, you can't pick it up when you flex like that. That's embarrassing.
Well, that's the whole flex, right? It's not that you have the ability to throw. I mean, if you only have one thing of throwing money and you just have to keep collecting it and throwing it, anybody could do that. Anyone could do that. Yeah. Well, yeah, I would. Lil Tay's hoax, hacked, whatever, death was the only thing that could get me to stop thinking about the boat fight. The Montgomery,
the Brawl,
Alabama boat brawl. It was what's known in most circles as best case scenario. I mean, so many different elements of this Montgomery, Alabama boat fight. So we go to Montgomery, Alabama for this. This was just under a week ago at this point, about a week ago, last weekend. There's a big spot. What they do boat tours here in Montgomery, Alabama. They do riverboat tours, and I guess it's a hot spot because there are people who every summer come up from other spots in Alabama, and they head up to Montgomery, and they park their pontoon boats here on the dock so they can go and drink and have a good time. But they got to park their pontoon boats in the right spot because otherwise, where's the riverboat going to park? And this is the whole reason the dock exists, is so the riverboats can park there. So
we have people to enforce these rules.
Well, and here's the other thing. Like there is some confusion over who is who. But this angle that we have here is coming from a riverboat that is trying to park with a tour full of people. So what happened was the guy who's on the PA system, he's like, gentlemen, could you please move your pontoon boat so I can park the riverboat? And they were like, no, of course not. No, you dork. We're not going to. No.
We're having a good time over here.
Yeah, we're having fun, okay? And part of our fun does not involve moving our boat so you could park your boat. The answer is no. And the guy's like, you have to move your boat. Like, there has to be room for the riverboat here. You have to move it. And the guys in the pontoon boat were like, how about no? No, we're not moving. And they just ignored him, right? Pay no mind. And the captain of the boat goes, okay, well, if you don't move your boat, I'm going to have to call the police. And when the police come, not only will there be questions about the boat, but if you have alcohol on you or on the boat, you're going to get in a lot of trouble. So I would suggest you move your boat. And the guys were like, I would suggest you go fuck yourself. And they split. They left the boat there.
It's not a nice suggestion.
No, terrible. I mean, that's a paraphrase. That's the vibe. I'm just trying to paint the picture of the vibe. These aren't direct quotes, okay?
Okay, I was confused for a second.
But they did flip him off, apparently, okay? So the guy is like, well, GD is what he said. GD or something like that.
Gosh darn it.
Right. I don't have any place to put this boat. And everybody on the riverboat is like, well, we'd like to get off this boat. He's like, I'd like to get you off it, but there's nothing I can do. And this gentleman here shows up, and he is a captain of another riverboat. He's also a captain. And he's not a security guard. He's a captain.
I thought he was a security guard.
No,
Okay,
from what
wow.
I've read and from accounts, wasn't a security guard. He was a captain. But they said, like, what is very, very normal and part of not decor, but what do you call it? Like just manners. What's the word I'm looking for?
I'm not good with words.
No, you're not. I'm asking the wrong person.
Etiquette?
Yes. Boat etiquette. That works perfectly. Good way to go, hot dog. Boat etiquette. What is dock etiquette is to move a boat so there's room for everybody, right? So this gentleman here starts moving the boat, and apparently it rubbed these fellas the wrong way. They may or may not have thrown slurs. They certainly threw curses. An argument ensued, and that's where Boat Brawl begins. This is why I do these pre-shows for WWE. This was the pre-show to Boat Brawl, where I can explain the story. And all of a sudden, you're invested, right? If I just set that whole thing up for you, and I said, so you got to see what happens next on Peacock, you're tuning in. You're at least getting that $5 tier. You are watching the show. So here's how it went down. See? Let me boost this down just a little bit. So the gentleman's getting frustrated. The people on the riverboat are saying he still didn't move the boat because they want to get off the riverboat. And now they're shouting. Oh! The first punch is thrown by this gentleman.
And
he throws off the hat, and the fight has begun. Now, at first, it's a fair
you can
fight.
hear the bell ringing.
Yes. At first, it's a fair fight between two dudes, but then this other dude comes and joins the fight, and now there's a pile of dudes all jumping on. Some of these guys have been arrested. And now, except this guy, tall guy, shows up. And this is where things start to change, right? First, it's just a dude getting jumped. Riverboat captain is getting jumped, and he's screwed because he's got all these guys on top of him. But now this tall guy shows up, and he is not, believe it or not, I don't know if you could tell from just the visuals of it, but the tall fella is not part of the crew that showed up on the pontoon boat.
No.
No. And he saw all these pontoon boat people beating up this Riverwalk person. And he said, well, I know who I'm defending here because the odds don't seem very fair.
It also seemed like he wasn't trying to fight at first. He was
separating.
Right, yeah.
Separating it, right? He's separate. All right, let's stop the fight now, guys. Let's stop the fight. Here comes this guy running with his khakis and another guy and another. It's like, okay, okay, he said, and you saw this moment here. Oh, boy, okay. So this moment here, a guy fell down as the tall fellow was trying to separate the fight. A guy fell down, right? Except I think other people saw that as maybe the guy getting knocked down. Now, Black Aquaman shows up because he was on the riverboat. And as soon as the fight started, the riverboat's pretty far away. Like, this is actually zoomed in. It's pretty far because it has to turn. The reason we're able to get this view is obviously it's going to have to turn to park on the dock, right? So it's pretty far. So this guy says, well, I can't stand no more. And he jumps off like Jason Momoa and goes down to the lost city of Atlantis to acquire his superpowers and then rises to the surface to get to the dock as Aquaman has come to save the day. This may be the human being of the week as far as I'm concerned. This is a great man. This is the man that you want in your corner.
Terrific cardio, too.
Can you imagine, dude, because it sounds like a great idea. You swim from boat to dock, and by the time, and then don't forget, how do you get on the dock? You have to do a full-on push yourself up. Right. You got to use that chest and the shoulders and the biceps, the arm, and you just use them to swim all this way from the boat. I'd be winded as hell. Hey, hang on. I'll get you in a minute. I'd be coughing up crazy stuff.
There's nothing that would make me that could be on the other side if I'm on a boat that make me go swim up there and then interject myself. First of all, I would assume that the fight would be over by the time I swam over there. It seemed like it would. It's
Yeah.
like 2 minutes by the time I get there. Everything's gonna be calmed down. Then I'm gonna look silly.
And even if you're going all heart, it's like reality would kick you in the ass when you got there.
And yes, if
Right?
you got your ass whooped. If you swim all the way over there,
Oh,
you got your
God.
ass whooped.
Oh, that's a totally different scenario. You're not Aquaman because Jason Momoa doesn't get his ass whooped.
No.
Jason Momoa survives. If you go up there and you're winded and somebody knocks you right back in the water, your best bet is you better swim somewhere else because you can't go back to the boat and you can't go up on that dock. You're humiliated. It's a major
This man was very,
Look at
he was
this
very
guy.
confident in his abilities.
This is one of the great heroes of our time. I would probably, just based on this tape alone, I would probably vote this gentleman for president. I think I would.
For office?
I believe I would. I mean,
You
look
don't even know
at
his positions.
who do we have? Based on what the alternatives are and what I've seen this man is capable of, I feel like he's better equipped than anybody that I've seen.
Okay, all right.
Right? Look at him. Look at him swim. Keep your eye over here because this is breaking up, right? He's swimming here. And watch this. Watch it. Look at look at it. Look at him push himself up. And he's taking
like,
his
all right, let's go.
He's got his shoes off here because they're wet. They're sopping wet. And he's like, okay, it looks like the fight's over. You guys get out of here. Okay, we're doing fine, right? I wish I had one of those like John Madden things where I could write on the screen. Right? And then the people on the riverboat are celebrating now because they got their money's worth. And it looks like everything's calmed down and everything's going to be fine. And it's no problem. Okay, we got into a little bit of a scuffle. Hopefully the authorities have been called. He swam here. Right. He's very wet. His shoes are off. These are still his shoes, don't forget. Right there, you can see him. See him take off in that water. Whoever that is doing the narration, that's my JR.
No, it's a whole boat of narrators. And It's amazing.
This guy's getting antsy though. If you're feeling froggy, jump. If you're feeling froggy, jump. Oh, there it goes again.
And there
he
go.
goes again. He was getting antsy.
Rock bottom.
He hit him with the rock bottom. That was Aquaman that hit him with the rock bottom, right?
Yeah.
Do you understand? Okay, now can we vote him for president?
Okay.
He swims all the way over there. He gave himself a full push-up to get up on the dock, threw his shoes off. If shit was going to cool down, shit was going to cool down. He was right for it. But this guy started feeling froggy, and he fed him a rock bottom immediately. Come on.
Followed by a stomp from the original boat guy. It was a combo.
Combo platter. Applebee's combo platter. Now we're going. Now up. So a bunch of the guy in the blue threw a punch. Look at he's slipping and sliding, but that's because he's Aquaman. He's so wet from swimming over from the boat. This woman in red is like, what are we going to do here? This looks like they're being held down. That's a security guard. You can tell from the stripes on the shirt.
Blue.
With the khakis on. He's holding him down. Don't do it. Don't do it. Looks like these guys are trying to hold their friend back. Stop. This guy's trying to hold back the guy in blue, who was just a moment ago throwing blows. Aquaman is trying to be like, okay, I threw the rock bottom. I hope I don't have to do anything else. All right, see, Aquaman's helping up the guy in the torn T-shirt now. Okay, I think we're chilled out now.
Now
I think we're finally chilled out. Aquaman has relaxed everything. It looks to be... It's a little tense still. That's the original guy, by the way, with the torn shirt now. The original captain who's had to deal with quite a bit this evening. Didn't realize how much he was going to go. This wonderful woman over here is picking up her slippers or sandals or whatever.
Everyone's like, all right, let's get this out of here.
Okay. All right. It looks like we can
Be on our
go.
way.
Let's get our meal. Let's go to dinner. What a crowd it's drawn, too. You can see, I mean, it's amazing if you watch.
Great deal, too. General admission. No one, and no one paid.
Oh, nobody paid. They just showed
Great
right up.
seats.
They didn't realize what a show they were in for. This gentleman has become shirtless somehow. Aquaman is trying to figure out. It looked like he had no pants on for a second, but I just realized his khakis are stuck to his legs because he swam in them. All right. And it looks like...
Wait.
Go ahead. Bring the boat over.
Come on in.
Everything's okay. Everything's fine. Oh, maybe this montage doesn't have...
Oh, no. So this is just one angle then. Because that was the pre-show.
Yeah. Because it continued on. Let me see if I have anything. Oh, no. All right. Let me... Let me see if we can get some more of it. There's a lot of like news coverage of it that I don't really necessarily need because we didn't get the chair shot.
The multicam.
Right, the multicam and the chair.
Let me see too.
Okay, this one's a little longer.
Okay.
We'll skip what we've seen already, obviously. Okay, all right. Here's the multicam.
Here we go.
Okay. You can see this is still the same brawl. Now the multicam. This is the fan cam. This is the fan cam from above.
Front row seats.
I mean, it's just everybody. That's what you get. Everybody just swinging. And look how peaceful this boat looks, by the way. Looks like a piece of Americana. Oh, this guy got knocked in the water. You see him get knocked in the water? Never get in a fight.
The first elimination.
The first elimination. We're going battle royale rules.
Shirts are off.
Oh, yeah, the shirts came off. Look at this guy sizing somebody up like he's going to do anything. Oh, there it goes. Okay.
My favorite part was
the police officers trying to stop things.
I feel like those two white guys decided to get brave a little bit when they saw that the officers were there. And then they started walking up.
Yes, because they thought that the police officers were going to stop everything.
Right, so they started walking up again, and then once they saw the four black guys coming back, and then the cops were just standing there enjoying the show like everyone else.
Yes.
They were like, okay, we made a terrible mistake.
Yes. Man, I mean,
that does surprise me. Like, it's not like the cops are on the way. The cops are there.
Cops are there.
The cops are chill.
It's still go. Now the boat's parked. Okay, this is key because this is after the boat was parked. Like they got the boat there. The tension should have just completely diminished. But now I guess these guys are super pissed off and probably intoxicated. But super upset that they got their pontoon boat moved, I guess.
The black guy is palming this white dude here, like Batista did when he turned on Rey Mysterio, and he was like, "You were supposed to be my friend."
That's right. I remember that.
Just a whole grip right there.
I wonder if he's thinking about Batista. And this lady should not be there getting her hands involved. Oh, and this lady's beating up that lady. It's intergender rules. So, like, the guys aren't hitting the women, but the women will come and hit the women.
Well, one guy did not get that.
He didn't get the memo. He's Baron Corbin. He's the heel of everything. Swinging a chair. You see the guy swinging a chair? Now, that's like an indie chair. That's not like a steel chair, but okay. Which, by the way, I mean...
Even like cops were like, all right.
That's like everybody fighting. It was like, what are you doing? Why would you hit that woman with a chair? She's sitting on the ground. What are you doing? No, I thought we're getting him, right? Everybody's like, what are you doing?
Like even the people that he thought he was defending stopped and were like, this is way too far. That poor woman.
Like the people watching who are getting the biggest kick out of this are going like, oh, gee, why? What? No. No, don't do that.
This is intergender, dude. We have the girls handling that.
The girls fight the girls, and the boys fight the boys, and whoever wins, wins. That's how we play. What are you doing? Why would you? Oh, no.
No, that chair was coming for everybody.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was. So, 4 people have been arrested as of today. We've got 3 gentlemen, and then I think it was last announced, maybe even yesterday, that a 21-year-old girl or woman, I guess, was also arrested. I haven't seen a mugshot of Chair Guy. I've got to imagine he's got to get arrested, right? He's got to be in the mix.
I don't think you can give a woman a concussion and not get questioned at the very least.
Well, I mean, there was no self-defense. There was a woman in a red dress that was sitting down after already being in a fight, and he just walked over and knocked her in the head with a chair. I understand the heat of the moment. You know, I'm not sitting here trying to vilify anyone involved for life, but I mean, if we're filing assault charges here, you gotta maybe factor
they
that
said,
in.
I think, I mean, didn't police issue, they had some warrants for some of the guys, and then they said, we want to question the man who was swinging the chair, if he could please come in.
I think that's a fair thing to do. To
And please come in unarmed, no chairs,
no.
please.
Oh, they said no. They said we'll use our chairs that we have here. Don't bring any furniture from outside into the police station because you're dangerous. You're the
I mean, he's good.
This guy, to me, there's two things we saw in this video. Number one, the new Jason Momoa. But number two, this is the new La Parka. This is the chairman. This is the guy. I wouldn't be surprised if he stands up on another chair and starts playing air guitar on the chair that he was swinging. This is the chairman of Montgomery.
I mean, if there was like a convention for like viral videos, he would be set, because now he just goes to every convention and just signs the chair.
Yeah.
I had chairman over here, come $5 for an autograph.
If there was a viral person, like if there was a convention for viral stars, would you go? I feel like chairman would probably overestimate his value, right? Like he'd get a booth, except everybody would be there to see Aquaman. You know what I mean? And it'd be like, oh, it's cool. Like chairman would almost be there to lower the line a little bit. So it's like, at least there's something else going on besides Aquaman.
The photo op would be great, though.
Because he'd have the chair, and you'd cut, I'd wear red just so I could, I don't know, don't do it. I mean, it's just amazing. You get out of control as a human being.
They said chairman took 2 inches off that poor lady's height.
Poor lady. And she's sitting down. She's already sitting down. I don't know what's going on. Well,
have a seat, bitch.
well, I will say, for me, even more exciting than that is they've announced Saw X this year, October 27th. The 10th installment of the Saw series is coming to movie theaters. Jigsaw is back. Of course, we did Saw 7, and we've gone over the entire Saw franchise on this show, but we may have to do it again because it gets really convoluted, really confusing, and now we're back with Saw X. So it went.
Did we ever go over the Chris Rock one?
No, because I think when we did the full franchise review of Saw, it was when Spiral came out.
Okay.
Maybe, or maybe when it was released. I don't know.
That might have been, that might have been.
Like because I think we stopped before Spiral.
Okay.
Because it goes Saw 1 through 6. And then Saw 7 is Saw 3D, which is called The Final Chapter. And then there's a movie called Jigsaw, which is technically Saw 8. And then there's Spiral from the Saw universe. But I mean, a key here, right, is that the Jigsaw killer himself died in like Saw 3.
7 movies ago.
Yeah, so Saw 3, the Jigsaw killer dies. Saw 4, the twist of Saw 4 is that Saw 3 and Saw 4 are taking place at the same time. So they got away with Jigsaw still alive because technically it's a parallel timeline, and that's the big reveal at the end of Saw 4. Spoiler alert. But Saw 5 and beyond, Jigsaw, the killer, is dead. He's
left instructions.
But he's left instructions, and there's all kinds of ways that they get around it. I
feel like a lot of the time, like most of these movies rely very heavily on the twist being time related somehow. Like, oh, this was actually, he was already dead two movies ago, or this is happening at the same time.
I mean, there's
actually the twist is 7 came before this. So it's a little hokey.
There's a couple of them like that. But I mean, look, you got to do 10 twists. A couple of them might be time related. I'm sorry, Hot Dog. The bottom line is Saw 1 is one of the greatest, oh my God, I can't believe it moments in cinematic history. Saw 1, 1,000% ranks with Sixth Sense. When it's like, what? And it might even be better. Sixth Sense, might be a better overall movie, but the shock of Saw 1, The very end of that movie, you're like, Jesus Christ, no way. So Jigsaw is back for Saw X. Have you seen the trailer?
No.
Yeah, new trailer dropped. I would recommend everybody check it out because trailer is crazy. It's awesome. But not only is Jigsaw back, he's the biggest. He's the main character. It's his story. So what we get from the trailer is that apparently, it says here, witness the return of Jigsaw. And what we get from the trailer too, we get a nice little splash scene. Shawnee Smith is back too.
Ooh.
Yes. Key part of the Saw franchise, Shawnee Smith. So what we've got here is it looks to be that Saw X is a prequel to Saw 2 and beyond, and only a sequel to Saw 1. So Saw X, and it's not a twist. It's telling you straight up. Saw X technically takes place between Saw 1 and Saw 2. Which is fine, because it's like, it's not like they're telling us everything that happened between the movies. And even in Saw 1, there is an understanding that Jigsaw has been at work. This isn't the first time he's done this in Saw 1. So the idea that there are more, there have been more crimes or whatever, there are more traps that Jigsaw has set, is perfectly within the realm of the universe that has been set up. It does, of course, run the risk of being a little retconny when technically you would not only have to abide by everything that happened in Saw 1, but you can't do anything in Saw X that would make Saw 2 through 9 not make sense anymore, right?
Right. It's a little tricky to do a movie right in the middle of the timeline.
It's true. And it's not, I mean, there's a lot of movies after it that they have to abide by. Otherwise, it turns the whole thing. Like, for instance, there are a lot of people concerned because it appears that the premise of this movie, because we know that the reason that Jigsaw is this murderer, serial killer man that tortures people is because he's got a brain tumor. He's dying of brain cancer. And he wants people to value life. And he feels that the only way they can value life is if they are fighting for their life and they are learning from mistakes that they've made in their lives. So he creates elaborate, very painfully life-threatening tests that have to do with mistakes and sins that the players, for lack of a better term, have committed. So it would appear that sometime after Saw 1, he was informed of his brain tumor, right? And he found this experimental, very, very expensive, what looks to be overseas, maybe not, medical office where they were like, yeah, we can remove the brain tumor. We can do this. We're going to do it. It's experimental, but we can do it. And so he did it. And then he went to another doctor. And the other doctor told him, no, they never took it. They didn't do anything. They didn't take any brain tumor out. Like they didn't do that. They hoodwinked you.
They got your ass.
They got your ass. And he goes, well, I'm about to get they ass, is what he says. The doctor says, looks like they got your ass. And he goes, well, I'm about to get they ass 10 times worse, is what he says. So it's a weird line in the trailer. But so then, yeah, so he traps the 4 people, and now they've got to pay for what they've done or whatever. People are a little concerned that Jigsaw has always walked this line where his motivations are clear, but he's a villain. People are worried that this is going to make him too much of an anti-hero. And if you make him too much of an anti-hero in Saw X, then it reshapes contextually who his character is in Saw 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 3D, Jigsaw. You know what I mean? It changes.
Yeah.
It changes everything. I'm not as concerned about it because I feel like it just shifts things more to his perspective. I don't think it necessarily changes who he is because from the beginning, he was doing things for reasons that he felt were righteous. It doesn't make him a good person. So the fact that he's still doing things that he feels are righteous, I feel like, if we're aware of everything that's going on, in the Saw universe, and I feel like everybody should rewatch every single Saw movie before they go see Saw X.
My gosh.
That's a given. It's just 9 movies. A lot of them are only 90 minutes.
One afternoon.
Spend a weekend. Binge.
I don't think I'm not worried about it too, because even in the other movies, they still kind of gave him some sympathy. They had you kind of feel bad for him a little bit with his wife and all that stuff. So
I'm a little worried they're going to go political, and they're going to go, you know what made him a murderer? They're going to go,
no.
what? They're going to go, the vax. It's like,
Saw X is going to go woke or something.
Exactly. They got to go in one of the two directions.
We're going to get a review from Ben Shapiro.
Where's more of our base? Yeah, what's Shapiro going to say? I'm so excited for it. I'm so excited. The trailer looks great. Look at this. I don't know what's going on with this trap. This is a poster. I would imagine that these are tubes, that some kind of terrible thing is going to go right into this person's eyeballs. But at the same,
like a rat.
It could be a rat that's going to dig into his eyeball and try to go into his brain. It could also be that they're going to shatter, and it's like just shattered glass all over your eyeballs. It could be many things. But see, it makes an X. That's the Roman numeral for 10. Saw X.
X is hot.
X is hot. X gonna give it to you. I'm very excited. When they announced that they were doing the final Saw all those years ago, you know what I said? For what? Why?
Keep it going.
Keep it going. Why? Why? They're like, this is gonna be the last one. People were like, finally. I was like, what for? There's no reason.
There was a point though where Saw they were pumping those out like every year.
Every Halloween, we'd get a Saw.
Yes.
If it's Halloween, it means Saw. We were getting them once a year. And they never.
So it's good that they slowed down a little bit.
Well, I don't think so. We could have had 20 Saws already.
Yeah.
You know? That would have been.
We'll get there.
You think so? I mean, what other franchise has this kind of staying power? We're 23 years.
Fast X.
Fast X. They came around. Saw and Fast and the Furious probably came out around the same time. And both of them are my favorites. Fast X, Saw X. I hope John Cena pops up in this one too.
Do you, someone was asking if what's the actor's name? The black guy, Donald Glover. If there's a possibility that he could be in this.
Yeah.
Would that fit? Would that even fit into the timeline? I mean, yes, it would. Well,
did they kill him in Saw 1? Or did they kill him in Saw 2?
He for sure died.
He's dead. He's definitely dead.
Yeah.
He was the one when it was like, oh, Donald Glover's in this. Like, he was like the one famous guy.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, find out when he died in Saw. Which Saw did he die in? Because I don't remember if he died in Saw 1 or maybe it was like the very beginning of Saw 2. They killed him. Because they realized the franchise is strong enough. And they don't need him.
You got to get these cameos in there. Let's see. David Tapp. It's not an easy one to find out.
How could it not be easy?
Well, I guess I could type in death. I can't.
By the way, it's Danny Glover. I knew you were wrong, by the way. Donald Glover's Childish Gambino. It's Danny Glover.
Oh, I always confuse those two.
They're not even.
You didn't correct me.
I knew it was. I knew you were off.
He dies in the original, I believe.
He's
left for dead. He's left for dead.
I'm not asking what you believe.
Okay. I'm reading it.
I think big deal. You think?
It says he's left for dead in the first movie.
I think he comes back in another Saw movie.
Well, either way, it'd be great if he pops up.
It'd be awesome if he pops up, especially if he was only left for dead. Although he's gonna look so old.
Well, I mean, how are they gonna explain this guy, the main Jigsaw?
He was always old. Anyway. He's been Tobin Bell has been old forever. He's just gonna continue to look old. It's not gonna be any problem. Yeah, I guess they never actually showed him whatever. I'm pumped, dude. I can't believe people are really mad at you for getting Donald Glover and Danny Glover confused. They think it's a racial thing.
Well, no, I mean, the names are very, very close, and they're
not that close. Not really that close at all. That's terrible,
very
dude.
Famous people.
That's horrible.
I'm sure they probably call him that as like his nickname anyway. Danny, Donald. I mean,
why would they call Donald Glover Danny Glover?
I would call my friend Donald if his name was Danny, or Danny
You think Danny
don't know,
Glover,
Johnny.
the actor, gets called Donald Glover as like a nickname?
I don't know. That's not a race thing.
No, Danny is not short for Donald.
It's short for Daniel.
Of course. Why would it be short for?
Right. I don't know.
Do you know what's short for Donald?
What?
Don, you idiot. Don.
Oh, I don't know.
There is a very famous Donald whose son is named Don Jr.
Ah. There we go.
Of course. All right, guys, listen. Before we get into too much idiocy, if you'd like to contribute to tonight's show, super chat in. Every super chat will get read. Don't be stingy with these likes. I see a lot of you are in here. The like count doesn't match the viewer count. Everybody hit like. Everybody hit subscribe.
Smash it.
Yes. If you want to catch up on videos that we've done, Jeffrey Townsend is saying you need to fire Hot Dog. I think so. If you'd like to catch up on previous videos or just segments, they're all available here on the YouTube channel. Let's go to these.
He's nuts.
Zetar is saying hot doggled. Monkey, you again, super chats. Every super chat gets acknowledged here on Sam Roberts Now. It's a rule of Sam Roberts Now. By the way, how about this? What about this? What if I told you? What if I told you there's art going around right now in private messages for Lonely Friday merchandise?
Ooh.
What if you could rep Lonely Friday everywhere that you go? What about that? Is that something that could interest you? Just saying.
I'm interested. I'm listening.
Hey, I'm just saying.
Okay.
So,
okay.
Let's see. Monkey, you chimes in. Maybe you can give a little of this cash to Hot Dog so he can afford an extra $5 for Premium Peacock. Did you hear I exposed you on the radio?
I did, and I still believe that the advertisements are more educational than the actual video package they would have shown in that time.
Let me ask you this. Do you believe that the voice of WWE, Michael Cole, screwed you over big time?
He fucked on me. That's what he did.
Yes, he did. He didn't need to say that, did he?
No.
No.
I've never heard it.
No. But the minute he knew I was in there with you, he was like, unless you're a broke ass, you're going to watch this video package. And I was like, Hot Dog, why aren't we watching the video package? He goes,
broke ass.
I'm broke ass. I'm sorry. PHW, OFL. In your list of top kayfabe personas, where does Andy Kaufman fall? I mean, I don't know. See, I feel like Andy Kaufman is like old school kayfabe in the sense that it was easier to do because you just go on TV and fuck around. But in your personal life, everything was fine. I feel like in the internet age, like maintaining character is so much more dangerous because you have to do it 24 hours a day. You never know when somebody's filming. You have to be posting all the time. And eventually, I think that like people romanticize Andy Kaufman losing himself in these characters. I don't think he ever truly lost himself in the characters. I think that the internet personalities now completely lose themselves in the characters. That's why you got like poor what's his name on the Nelk Boys that Andrew Schultz owned.
Oh.
Schmitty or whatever.
Dweeb?
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't know who he is. He's got no idea. Poor
He's
guy.
finding himself live in front of millions of people.
I know.
It's not easy to do.
No, especially when Schultz is asking, who are you? He's like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Schultz is
Especially
the
when you have no
last guy.
talents.
Schultz is the last. Well, you're just quoting Schultz now. He's the
Yeah.
last guy in the world that you want pointing out that you have no idea who you are.
I would cry. Oh my God.
Oh, especially if it's your show. Oh. Jeffrey Townend. OMG, Sam, you have to do a review of Netflix's Painkiller. I've only watched one episode and I'm already hooked. Bro, 3.5 episodes down as of last night. I was going through them. Ferris Bueller plays the head of the company that made OxyContin. He fucked people up. It's so good. It's like they got the actress who played Crazy Eyes on Orange is the New Black. And she's like the one who's exposing how everybody understood that they were basically selling heroin in pill form and how they got away with doing it, why they got away with doing it. It goes back, it looks at it from all these perspectives, and just shows how it like really destroyed families and people's lives and compares the opioid and OxyContin epidemic to the crack epidemic, except this one was legalized and people were making huge money legally from it. And it's Ferris Bueller, so,
Bueller.
Yeah, it's great. I love that they're doing stories about like shows about how really awful it got not very long ago with the pharmaceutical industry. I wonder if things, have changed, but
is it still like, is it a lot more highly regulated now, or is it still like a...
Well, it was highly regulated then. It was just, people were like, hey, bro, we got a lot of money.
Yeah.
Like doctors were getting bonused for the amount of, first it was the amount of prescriptions. Then it was the amount of pills being prescribed. Like we got to get the dosages up. There were salespeople, pharmaceutical salespeople that were convincing doctors, you got to get your dosages up that you're prescribing. It's crazy.
Sick.
Crazy. That's what they show in the show anyway. B-Herb76, F, marry, kill for hot dog. Somebody, anybody, or nobody. F, marry, kill, somebody, anybody, or nobody.
I'd fuck somebody because I'm selective.
Oh, all right.
I have standards.
Locked in.
Yeah. Marry nobody because I'm ready to kill anybody.
It's a psychotic answer. It's clearly kill nobody, marry somebody, and fuck anybody, bro.
Anybody can get. I'm killing everybody.
You're gonna kill anyone. You'll kill anyone.
Anybody.
But you're not getting married. That's one thing you won't do.
Right.
Okay. All right. Zetar. Good to see you, buddy. Thank you for the contribution. Six Crow, I feel bad that I joke about Hot Dog. He's a great guy who is very important to your operation. And God knows I'm far from great. So please double Hot Dog's cut for this super chat. What's 0 times 2?
Let me work on that. Pull up a calculator.
Yeah. Yeah. I appreciate that. I mean, look.
I appreciate those words, too. I agree.
If Hot Dog wasn't unfortunately, I do, we're living in this world of getting lost in the character. If Hot Dog wasn't a valuable part of the operation, he probably wouldn't be here.
I'm the brain. I'm the Bobby Heenan behind the machine, right?
No, you're
I'm
not.
like this behind you the whole time.
Yeah, no. No, you're more like when a manager gets assigned to somebody who cuts his own promos. You know who you are as a wrestling manager? You're Ted DiBiase in the NWO. That's who you are.
Like, I'll talk for Hulk Hogan.
Yeah, exactly. Not Sam Miguel. Oh, has a question. Why is Hot Dog mad that I'm posting Kumia clips on Instagram?
I'm rolling my eyes at his stupid post where Kumia goes on a tirade and Notsam Miguel goes, "Is he right? Yes or no?" Oh, shut up.
You're rolling your eyes at Notsam Miguel using Kumia to try to get engagement up?
Just asking questions.
Hey, is he right? I'm not saying he is or isn't. You comment below.
Yeah.
Coward. I haven't seen it, so I don't know. Javi Silva, I appreciate the contribution. Plopbot wants to know, what is Sam's IQ? Manson's was 109. I don't know, but I have to guess probably 250, maybe 350. I don't know.
Yeah, double that.
Double, yeah. Take that. Double it. Jeffrey says Hot Dog is Mr. Fuji. And he's like old Mr. Fuji, though. He's like, my Yokozuna, Mr. Fuji. Yeah, like Mr. Fuji was also there to clean up after Yoko when he went to the bathroom. Hot Dog is more like that part of Mr. Fuji's contribution.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
Well, he's a legend. He's a legend.
He's a legend and a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
I mean, Hard WK Nick says, keep sending super chats so the show never ends. That used to be a killer. Remember we would do late nights. We used to do the show at 10:30 at night, and we'd be here until 12:30, 1 o'clock in the morning because you dillweeds kept sending $2 super chats in one after the other. We were like, please.
Not even. I believe it was whatever the minimum was. for a
Minimum
super
super chats, 99-cent super chats. And it's like, you just want to go to bed, which is what we're going to do now. Appreciate all the contributions. Even if you didn't contribute via super chat, appreciate you guys hanging, banging. Don't forget, you got 5 styluses, so you might as well use them. I'm going to cheers with you later.